Today I'm sitting down with the internationally renowned and award-winning Dr. Michael Appa, cosmetic dentist to some of the world's biggest stars, including J-Lo, Kendall and Kylie Jenner, the Olsen twins, and many more. Known for his unparalleled expertise in transforming smiles, Dr. Appa has built a reputation not only as a leader in his field, but as a trusted confidant to the A-list. Dr. Appa, welcome to DITL.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good.
Where did you just come from? I feel like you are constantly on the go. I was in your office last week and I started to learn more about your practice and your travel and all your practices throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have LA, Miami, New York, and Dubai.
Correct.
Where'd you just come from?
I just came from New York. By the way, can we talk about intros?
How is that? Horrible?
It's
Do you
fantastic.
Want a new one?
No, it's fantastic. But I would say that anyone, celebrity dentist, what is a celebrity? I'm not a celebrity dentist, right? In all reality, to get those types of accolades, you have to be really focused and passionate about what you do. And so I could sum up my bio by saying, Mike Appa is a really passionate guy that will not take no for an answer, that is dedicated to dentistry.
Love that.
Yeah, because people get intimidated. Like, I find a lot of people will not come to me because they think that I'm a celebrity dentist. Like me and J-Lo, are like, I'm treating her every day and she's just hanging out in my office.
Mm-hmm.
I think the celebrity portion of I think it's notable because they have the opportunity to go to whomever they want. And so if they're choosing someone specific, it hopefully means that they've done research and you have a great reputation as somebody who really strives for excellence in whatever it is that you're doing, dentistry, whatever, right?
It's validating,
Yeah,
for sure.
it's validating,
to be at the top of your field,
Yeah,
and to be the sought after dentist of some of these people.
yeah.
How do you, I guess, on that note, make your practice approachable to the everyday person?
So we are extremely well known in our profession, right? So in dentistry, we're kind of in aesthetic dentistry. We're the guiding light for or setting the standard of how people set up their practices, how they do their dentistry, what results they're striving for. And so every time that I lecture or people invite me to lecture, the number one thing they ask me is, will you give a lecture on marketing? As if I am some master marketer, right? And and I say this every time, like my opening slide is your branding is made every day in the chair. So if you do exquisite work, we're in an age where you can showcase it. When I first started doing dentistry in 2003, there was fashion magazines to reach the general public. But if you got a blurb in Vogue, it was a lot. And they certainly weren't able to put before and afters to showcase your work. So you had a website and you had to boost traffic to, I don't even know if there was SEO at the time, but it was a joke. And so you couldn't really show what you were doing. But now with social media and the different platforms that we have available to us, it's not as hard to decipher good work versus bad, or work that people would want for themselves versus others, celebrity dentists, reputational people. And so I think we built it just by being great. And as we have brought on, now we have 15 associates, 4 locations. We have over 30 different dental technicians, ceramists that make the teeth. We're trying to put out this, army of great work done by all at our locations, not necessarily me, but everyone. And as before I was one voice screaming really loud saying like, here's my work, and now it's all 15 are talking.
Yeah.
And so the voice really multiplies and puts more eyeballs on the practice more now than it ever did before.
It's amazing. I mean, you've been able to scale
Greatness.
yourself and and the skills and the people.
Yeah.
What about just to get a better understanding of the team?
Yeah.
You mentioned marketing. So like the team, you know, who's running social and like some of these other areas of the business that maybe aren't obvious when you think about a dental practice. But like what makes up some of the other teams to support the business?
So in an attempt to professionalize the business, you create leaders in each portion that you want. So I would say that we have publicists at every location that is responsible for the office that are mostly in-house. Some are contracted, but they're long-term, they're single people, they're not agencies. You know, sometimes when you get mixed up in an agency, you're getting top-line stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not our business. We're not selling $3.50 widgets, you know? If we had a product line and that was my business, it would be a very different strategy. But this has to come from individual voices making real impact, making connections with people. And so I run my social myself. And you can tell, you'll be able to tell by the time this is done, if you looked at any of my social media, that it's just my voice. And I think that, you know, people can copy, people can wear the same lab coat, wear the same white sneakers, have the same fancy office, but they're not going to be able to replicate what's inside of your brain, which comes out of your mouth. And if anything, I think with the teams, the publicists, and with the doctors and with the editing people, it's top down from my voice to everyone to try to instill, like, I don't want them to be like me. I want them to be themselves, because if they're like me, they're going to attract the same people as I'm attracting. And I want them to attract their crowd. So one of the first things we do when we open an office, we have the doctors, I have them over to my house, and we'll sit down and we'll go through, like, you know, you have to create a persona for people to understand what you want them to understand about your work. You know, you want to give them 10% of inner personality, 90% of how you look at dentistry, beauty, things that people will resonate with if they wanted to say, do my teeth and I will trust you, because you're going to permanently change the way someone looks. And that is a very scary interaction going in to see any cosmetic doctor, whether it's dermatologist, plastic surgeon, dentist. And so we go through, and it's interesting. It's not by, you know, the way even we hire, we're not hiring two of the same personalities. We're trying to find talented dentists with different perspectives in different locations, mostly unique to the location. So in LA, I have two guys that grew up in LA because they know the environment. And then the third person, which is Andy, who you met.
I love Andy.
Yeah. She worked with me for 9 years. So she has my voice. So she can go in as a leader when I'm not there. But the guys that grew up in LA have that thing that she doesn't have, which is an understanding of the population. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Dubai, same thing with Miami, and same thing with New York. But then we take them and we'll have a dinner, and we'll literally go around the table and say, like, what is interesting about you, and what do you think people would want to know? You know, for instance, I have Clement, Nick, and Nicholas in New York. Nick is like a jock. He's like a football dude and a soccer guy. Clement was born in the Middle East, he's Lebanese, moved to New York, and he's got a much softer side to him, but he's very stylish. And then Nicholas is South American, born in Ecuador, went through a lot of different schooling, so he has a lot of different disciplines under his belt. He's a little older. I mean, they're all young compared to me, but older in the group. And so they have very different perspectives, and they've all went to NYU, you know, kind of grew up in New York as an adult. And so we have to create these personas, and that's what's going to guide their their postings, right? So beyond just the teeth, if they're going to put something personal in, it's to try and resonate with their group of people, because the worst thing in a multi-unit practice is people wanting to see me and being forced to see someone else, because it's a real relationship that you're creating with your patient, that they have to vibe with you, because there's going to be good times and bad times, right? There's going to be times where you're so happy because your smile looks great, but there's going to be times where you're sensitive, or you don't think something's right, or your bite feels off. And to get through those conversations with the person that's taking care of you, you have to be able to resonate with them. And so we're trying to create these different personalities to draw different people in, to make it comfortable for them to treat a different crowd and not be treating patients that wanted to see me.
Well, it seems like you pick an incredible pool of talent.
Thank you.
In LA, I had the pleasure of seeing Andy and Charlene.
Yep.
And you hire great people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, because it's hired for not, I'm going to teach them the skill. I need the mentality first. So I'm hiring for, we're 4 walls, 9 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, in very intense situations, especially when the office is busy, you have a disgruntled patient, you have a good patient. There's a lot of moving parts all day long. People need to be able to see clearly together and not have such different personalities to where they can't coalesce and gel with each other.
Yeah.
And so we're hiring like-minded people of how they look at the world. And it creates a nice environment.
It's funny because we run very different businesses, but I think there's a lot of synergy and shared values in the way that we build team and culture. And I think that those, the mentality and the values and the collaborative nature,
Yep.
I always say like that is what we're looking for first and foremost. And some of those hard skills can be taught.
You're right.
So on DITL, we always start at the beginning of the day.
Tell me.
And work our way through. So what time do you wake up and how do you get your day started?
Okay, so I have 4 locations, and they're all 3 out of 4 on different time zones. So I wake up at 4:45 no matter where I am. I have homes in each place, and I have everything the same in every home. Dishes, forks, knives, glasses, coffee machine, sheets, pillows, everything. The only way that I know where I am is where the light is coming in the room, because you're on a different time zone, and I'm usually flying during the nighttime and landing and going to work, or I'm getting in late at night, not getting a full 7 hours of sleep and going to work. So you're a little disoriented at 4:45. So, New York, the sunlight's in front of me, Miami is on the right, LA is on the left, Dubai's behind me. So 4:45, and the first thing I do is I'll pick up my phone, because I have to get my brain going, and I'll, depending upon which time zone I'm on, I'll start getting the recap of the office. So for instance, if I'm on East Coast time, I will get Dubai first thing when I wake up, and she'll give me the recap. And then 4:45 until about 5 of 5, I will read and respond to any problems or things that need my attention. From there, I'm getting ready to go to the gym. I show up at the gym by 5:50. So around 5 o'clock, let's say, brush my teeth, floss, wash my face. I have my own products, obviously. So Appa toothbrush.
What about toothpaste?
Appa toothpaste, Appa mouth rinse, all that
of it.
good stuff.
Okay.
Yep. I put my gym clothes on, and then I go down and make coffee for myself and my fiance.
And what's the coffee drink? What are you drinking? What machine are you using?
I have espresso machine, Breville, and I have beans. They're espresso beans from Hampton Coffee. Try it. I promise you, if you like, do you drink coffee?
Yes. And I've had Hampton Coffee before.
It's the best coffee, hands down.
And do you do straws?
Paper straws. Yep. I listen to Tom Brady. Yep. No plastic straws.
Maybe metal or I use glass
No,
straws.
they chip your teeth.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Be so careful.
Oh my God, Dr. Appa.
5 a year I get. Glass straws. Typically in Europe, I'll always get a call from a patient in Europe. It's either a glass bottle or glass straw chips the tooth.